The Canadian housing market in 2023 felt like a bit of a roller coaster ride with plenty of twists and turns, ups and downs. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, the national average sale price rose by 2% year over year when we're comparing November, while the number of new listings declined by 1.8%. And aggressive interest rate hikes pushed potential home buyers and sellers to the sidelines. So you may be wondering now, what is in store for the housing market in 2024? Real estate expert Erica Reddy is joining us this morning to discuss. So much to talk about this morning. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year. I'm practicing 2024.
I know, it's not coming out right quite yet, but we'll get there. Let's start with interest rates, because we know the Bank of Canada, the rate is sitting at 5%. We are expecting a cut at some point this year, but the question is when. And when that happens, what will that do to the market?
So let's start. I wish I had a crystal ball, because if I did, this would just make the entire 2024 market so much easier. But I do think we are going to see those cuts. When, I don't know. I mean, everybody's kind of hoping this spring, maybe as late as the fall. But I mean, I think the Bank of Canada is going to kind of look at the market and go, how can we find ways to keep it stable, but potentially stimulated?
And I think about, people who are looking to lock into a mortgage rate. And there's all those conversations right now about fixed rate versus variable. So if we know the Bank of Canada rate may be going down, is it more advantageous for us to lock into a variable fixed rate? I mean, what are you hearing? What are you saying?
You know what? I think we've had such a scare with the variable rate, obviously, as things kind of really went out of control. A lot of people got stuck in those variable rates and really got a nasty surprise.
Yeah.
So I think people are probably still a little skittish to entertain that variable rate, but there could be an opportunity to start looking at that.
Yeah, it could be an opportunity for sure. But we need the inventory. So that is part of this conversation as well. Are there homes out there? Will we have an uptick in the number of homes that we see being put on the market?
So I think so. I mean, if we look at the end of 2023 as any kind of tale of what we should see in 2024, we saw a tremendous amount of inventory. So definitely increased inventory. And as a result, we started to see some downward pressure on pricing. In some of our major cities, Toronto, Vancouver, we've definitely still seen less supply. But I do believe we're going to see a steady increase in supply, and we're going to see more houses coming to market, especially in the spring, when a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers kind of gear up for those traditional markets.
What are you hearing from your clients? Are they just holding on right now? Are they waiting to list? What's going on?
It's a great question. So, I mean, some clients, I think, are kind of ready to hit the market. I mean, I love January, I love February, because you typically don't see a lot of supply, but you still have buyer demand. And so that supply-demand skew is typically one you want to try and take advantage of if you can. But I'm also hearing a lot of people say, you know what, maybe we wait for the spring. Prices might be up in the spring. So, sellers want to take advantage of a healthier market. So there's a little bit of a catch-22.
Right?
It's such a push-pull.
So you mentioned home prices.
Yes.
What can we expect across the country?
So I think home prices, we have to remember, are very much tied to interest and buyer demand. And so if we start to see an increase in buyer demand, we'll likely start to see some pressure on pricing, and we'll see that increase. If we see more of a steady balanced market, I think we'll probably see stability and similar pricing, not necessarily downward.
Somebody watching right now, they're going, okay, should I list my house? Should I get into the market? What tips do you have?
So I think if you're a buyer, it's a great opportunity to start to get your feet wet. Figure out what you can afford. Maybe take a look at, are we buying now? Are we waiting for the spring? There's always a catch-22. If you're winning on the price, you're maybe paying a little bit higher on interest. If you're paying a little less on interest, you're maybe paying a little bit more on price. So it's really so personal. And if you're a seller, I always say look at inventory, because that's going to probably skew the demand. So less inventory, maybe in the earlier months, you might have more buyer demand. A little bit more inventory, you're going to have more competition. So,
and the other thing to do, talk to your neighbors, because then you can find out if somebody else is listing and you want to get ahead of them.
Yes, watch for those exclusive signs.
Exactly. Erica Reddy, always good to see you.
Great
Thanks
to see you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.